The Nexus diplomatic station housed the galaxy's most elite families, representatives of the 12 major species who governed known space. Their children, the future leaders, ambassadors, and rulers, attended the station's prestigious academy. When the previous childcare coordinator suffered a neural breakdown from managing the diverse needs of alien offspring, the administration made what many considered a desperate decision. They hired a human. Marcus Thompson arrived on a Tuesday, carrying nothing but a worn duffel bag and a patient smile. The alien parents were not impressed. "This is insulting," growled Ambassador Thraxel of the Karathi Empire, his 4 muscular arms crossed in disdain. "My son Krex is heir to a warrior dynasty spanning 300 worlds. You expect me to entrust his care to this soft skin?" Diplomatic envoy Zilthara of the Hive Mind Collective clicked her mandibles in agreement. "Humans are barely evolved from primitive pack hunters. How can one manage the sophisticated needs of our genetically superior children?" The station's administrator, a nervous Zentaurian named Quex, wrung his tentacles anxiously. "Please, honored delegates, Mr. Thompson comes highly recommended his experience with what?" interrupted Dr. Velnash of the Cerebral Coalition, her enlarged cranium pulsing with bioluminescent patterns of derision. "Chasing animals across mud plains? Our children possess intellects that surpass most adult humans." Marcus had heard it all before. He simply nodded respectfully and asked, "When can I meet the kids?" The first day was chaos incarnate. Krex, the young Karathi warrior, immediately challenged Marcus to combat, his juvenile claws still sharp enough to rend flesh. The hive mind children moved in perfect synchronization, testing boundaries through coordinated mischief. Lixara, the diminutive quantum sight prodigy, phased in and out of dimensions, while the twin Perokan offspring of Ambassador Flameheart set small fires throughout the recreation area. The other species' children watched from various corners, some invisible, others floating, a few emanating low-level psychic static that gave most humans headaches. Marcus surveyed the mayhem calmly, then did something unexpected. He sat down, in the center of the room, and waited. Slowly, the chaos began to focus on him. Krex stalked closer, expecting the human to flee or cower. The hive mind children surrounded him in a perfect circle. The others maintained their positions but turned their attention toward this strange, still figure. "All right," Marcus said quietly, his voice carrying further than should have been possible. "Who's hungry?" The question was so mundane, so unexpected, that it stopped everyone mid-action. Within an hour, Marcus had somehow procured foods appropriate for each species' dietary needs, not the standard nutritional paste served in the academy cafeteria, but actual delicacies from their homeworlds. The Karathi youth bit into genuine Thraxian hunt meat. The quantum sight child savored probability fruits that shouldn't have existed in this dimensional phase. "How did you—" began Veltris, the young Cerebral Coalition prodigy, her juvenile head tendrils twitching with curiosity. "Trade secret," Marcus winked, but his smile was warm, not dismissive. By the end of the first week, the complaints from parents had stopped. Not because the children were behaving, they were still the same chaotic collection of young aliens, but because something had changed in their dynamics. Ambassador Thraxel was the first to notice it during his weekly check-in with Krex. "Father," his son said, standing straighter than usual, "Alpha says warriors protect those who cannot protect themselves." "Alpha?" Thraxel's eye stalks narrowed. "Who is this Alpha?" "The pack leader, Marcus." Krex spoke the name with unmistakable reverence. "He showed us the human way of honor." Similar reports began filtering in from other parents. The hive mind. Children had started making individual decisions, something that shouldn't have been possible for their collective consciousness. Dr. Velnash was shocked to discover her daughter Veltris had begun solving mathematical theorems through intuition, rather than pure logic. The breaking point came during the 3rd week, when a group of older academy students, teenagers from various species, decided to test the human babysitter. They cornered Marcus in the observation deck while the younger children were supposed to be napping. 8 adolescent aliens, each possessing abilities that could kill an adult human, surrounded him with predatory grins. "So," hissed Sekthar, a young serpentine royal whose venom could dissolve steel, "the soft skin thinks he can lead our younger siblings?" Marcus looked up from the datapad he'd been reading, completely unruffled. "They can lead themselves. I just make sure they don't hurt each other while they figure that out." "Pathetic," sneered Zorak, a teenage voidwalker whose shadow manipulation powers were already legendary. "Humans are weak, fragile. You have no claws, no venom, no psychic abilities. What could you possibly teach superior beings?" The younger children had awakened and gathered at the observation deck's entrance, drawn by some instinct they couldn't name. They watched as their older counterparts closed in on Marcus, and then something extraordinary happened. Marcus stood, up not quickly, not aggressively, but with a fluid motion that somehow commanded the entire room's attention. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute certainty. "You're right, I don't have claws." He looked directly at Sekthar. "I don't have venom." His gaze shifted to Zorak. "I can't manipulate shadows or phase through dimensions or read minds." He stepped forward, and despite their superior abilities, the teenagers found themselves taking a step back. "But I have something none of your species ever developed. Something that made humans the most successful persistence predators in our planet's history." His eyes swept across all of them, and they felt something primal stir in response. An instinct older than civilization itself. "I can make others want to follow me." The statement hung in the air like a physical presence. The younger children pressed closer to the entrance, their various sensory organs locked onto Marcus with laser focus. "Your parents think leadership is about power," Marcus continued, his voice never rising above conversational level. "But power without trust is just tyranny. Trust without competence is just popularity. Leadership, real leadership, is about making others believe they can be better than they are." He gestured toward the younger children. "These kids don't follow me because I'm stronger than them. They follow me because I see who they could become, and I help them get there." Young Krex stepped forward from the group, his claws retracted, his posture respectful but unafraid. "Alpha speaks truth. He teaches us to be strong together, not just strong alone." One by one, the other children moved to stand near Marcus, not hiding behind him, but standing with him. The hive-mind youngsters maintained their individual stances while somehow still moving in harmony. The quantum sight child phased fully into their reality, choosing presence over evasion. The teenagers found themselves facing not one human babysitter, but a unified group that somehow felt more formidable than any individual among them. Sekthar's venom sacs deflated. "This is impossible. Humans can't." "Can't what?" interrupted Veltris, the young cerebral coalition prodigy. "Can't inspire loyalty without dominance, can't lead without ruling. Perhaps that says more about our species than theirs." The confrontation ended not with violence, but with the teenage aliens slinking away, somehow feeling they had encountered something beyond their understanding. Later that night, Ambassador Thraxel found Marcus sitting in the station's observation lounge watching the stars. "My son calls you Alpha," the Karathi said, settling his massive frame into a reinforced chair. "Kids like simple titles," Marcus replied with a shrug. "In Karathi culture, Alpha isn't just a title. It's a recognition of proven leadership, something that can't be claimed, only earned." Thraxel studied the human's profile. "My ancestors conquered 17 star systems. They ruled through strength, fear, and superior firepower. But Krex speaks of a different kind of strength." Marcus smiled. "Kids see things clearly. They know the difference between someone who forces others to follow and someone who makes them want to. And which are you?" "I'm just a guy who likes kids," Marcus said. "But I think maybe your son is going to be a better leader than either of us." Within 6 months, the Nexus Academy had become the most sought-after educational institution in the galaxy. Parents who had once mocked the human babysitter now waited years for admission, hoping their children might learn whatever mysterious quality Marcus Thompson possessed. The children called it being part of his pack, The adults called it impossible. But late at night, when the station was quiet and the future leaders of 12 species gathered around Marcus for their bedtime stories, they all understood the same simple truth. Sometimes the greatest strength isn't in commanding others to follow. Sometimes it's in making them choose to.